Welcome to the quietest ones in the room with your host, Trey. I gotta say it, just the mere fact that you've clicked onto this video and you are listening to the sound of my voice, you by far are the most intelligent people on the face of the planet. So once again, thank you for joining me. One of the greatest companies in American history, Apple. Apple has done some phenomenal things that has changed the way we live our lives. But the Apple of 2025, led by Tim Cook, one must ask themselves, is it time for him to resign? Has Tim Cook been cooked? Is he overdone? Has Tim Cook's expiration arrived? And this is all in a week of which the Trump administration has announced 25% tariffs on Apple. Products that come to the United States for us to consume. And this is also after in February, Apple announced significant investments to bolster its U.S. manufacturing presence. We're talking about $500 billion over the next 4 years, aiming to create 20,000 new jobs, which is alarming to me, especially with all the layoffs. You're doing layoffs, but then you're promising 20,000 jobs, whatever. This investment includes the establishment of 250,000 square foot facility in Houston, Texas, dedicated to producing service for Apple's AI infrastructure known as Apple's Intelligence. And they even talked about an advanced manufacturing fund of $10 billion to set a manufacturing academy in Detroit to train future manufacturers. So these are promises. But let's talk about what Tim Cook has said. Tim Cook did what no CEO should be doing in 2025 and moving forward. And it questions whether or not he should be the CEO of Apple any longer. He used the word I can't. We can't. As it pertains to bringing iPhone manufacturing to the United States, of which I'd imagine in this climate that stakeholders and shareholders would love for there to be a focus that reduces geopolitical risk, that builds a stronger brand story, that ensures long-term control, especially cost control. One can only imagine after the pandemic, with all these tariffs taking place, one could only imagine that it would make sense to bring much of the operation back to the United States. But people argue about the cost. Oh, it costs so much. We don't have this and we can't do that. The can't doesn't work here. There are consequences, and that's why the 25% tariffs are on the table. If you don't think that they should be, I'm asking, then what do you think should be done to bring back one of the greatest companies in American history to the United States? What should be done? Should we not get the iPhone manufacturing back here and control it? Should we let it be done in India, Vietnam? Why not here? Per Tim Cook, we can't. We don't have the trained labor force to do it. But yet, we have the trained labor force to build AI servers in Texas, but not iPhone. Are we going to continue with the made in China forever, or made in Taiwan forever, or made in India forever? The leadership he's displaying by saying, I can't, puts into question if he's the man to carry on the vision of the future for Apple. But maybe this is an opportunity for those who are investors to get a sweet deal on the stock. Maybe Tim Cook is the right man, and with these 25% tariffs and painting the narrative that Tim Cook is not the person, you can damage the stock price just enough to get a sweet deal as new technology comes out and you get into the upward mobility of the stock price going higher and higher. It's what the wealthy do. So maybe that's a part of the game. All I want to say here is that whether or not Tim Cook should be the CEO or not, it's not really the point. The point is that in this country, we have a group of people who have determined who gets a piece of the pie and who doesn't. I mean, think about it. Think about how many people would be employed if many of these Fortune 500 companies that have manufacturing facilities abroad brought those home. How many people here would have jobs and be paid well and be able to take care of the children and be able to buy a home and all the things that used to be much easier? And don't get it twisted. In this country, there's always been hardship, but we can't act as if there weren't times before that were a little easier. And with inflation and AI technology, both of these rising, it becomes more apparent that something needs to be done to bring jobs back to the United States. Yes, we need job creation, but we also need to bring back the manufacturing that provided and afforded so many people in this country to have a sustainable lifestyle. Oh, but I get it. So many people can't even fathom the idea of walking into a facility and working in a manufacturing plant because people want to work from home. I don't blame you. Working from home is nice. People don't want to walk to work, drive to work, and walk into work with that lunch bag and that lunch pail. That's old school, right? Nobody does that anymore. You can DoorDash to work now. So yeah, you get your manufacturing job and you get your DoorDash to your job. And you meet your wife there for lunch or your husband there for lunch, and everybody just has a great time. You get off work and you go and spend time with your children who attend a lovely public school because the taxes are being taken from the wealthy and taking care of things like they need to be taken care of. But in all seriousness, Tim Cook may or may not be the guy. I'm leaning towards he's not. Honestly, I don't see why a CEO would ever use the words they can't, I can't, we can't. Doesn't make any sense. Don't use words like that. Everything is we can, we will. Even if you know you can't right away, we understand this stuff is going to take time. You can't just shut down a manufacturing plant in some other country and immediately start building here. These things take a long time. To build these facilities here would take a long time, but let's do it. We should be up for it. Now, some argue it's too late. Some argue with inflation being too rampant and America being controlled not by the US citizens, but the wealthy abroad and a few wealthy people in this country, it's too late. It's too late. So why bother? That's if you buy into that narrative. If you don't buy into that narrative, it is not too late. We can get it done. It's going to take time, but it will be a better future for future generations in this country. So Tim Cook, get your stuff together. And if he's replaced, I think it may give Apple the boost it needs. You bring in a fresh new voice, somebody with a new vision, who knows what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. I think you get a great future for Apple. But Apple's been struggling. And one can only blame Tim Cook. Where I reside in the Triangle area here in North Carolina, Apple was said to be coming here, and I don't know what's going on with that anymore. It went from, oh, we're going to build this big second campus, third campus, or whatever it was, and instead there are like 100 people working here, 200 people. They were supposed to produce thousands of jobs. So there's a lot of talk about all these things that Apple will do, but do they do them? It seems that they do a lot of the things, obviously, in other countries. But here, I don't know. But anyhow, please share your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think Tim Cook needs to go? Do you think Tim Cook needs to go? Would you like to see him be replaced and Apple move into a new direction? Do you think it was a mistake for him to say can't? Do you think the 25% tariff will stick, or will Apple and Trump come to a new understanding as we move forward? As always, please like, share, and subscribe. And I want to thank every one of you who take the time to listen to the quietest ones in the room. I'm so grateful that you take time out of your busy day, when you're driving, when you're with the kids, when you're with your coworkers, when you're traveling, wherever you are, in whatever country you're in. I am very grateful. So stay blessed. And I want to thank everyone who has donated on CashApp, QuietestOnes. Really appreciate it. You keep me motivated. And as always, until next time.